It's Cole Boone here once again with another video. This time I'm going to show you how to mark various dark surfaces. I have a lot of experience with all of these, and I find that using these Sharpies, which is a translucent ink, they call it a permanent marker, is not the way to go. The problem is the ink is partially see-through. So when you take a red Sharpie, or worsely even a black Sharpie, much less a blue, you're going to get the black surface of these items shining through the ink. So it makes the blue appear extremely dark and hard to see. What I prefer to use instead is an oil-based silver Sharpie. And this one is laying down an opaque paint that is not see-through at all. So the silver lays on top. It doesn't shine the bottom underlying surface through it. So silver looks silver, which is extremely bright with a black background. So I'm going to demonstrate this. I'm going to first mark, for example, this piece of steel with a blue Sharpie. I'm going to do that right now. Okay. And then I'm going to mark it with the oil-based ultra-fine silver. Look at the difference. Especially in a dark situation, you kind of see how the blue Sharpie starts to disappear. The silver stays the same, all lighting conditions. Next is neoprene rubber. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll first mark it with the blue Sharpie. I'll come back with silver. As you can see the difference on rubber, you can see that the blue Sharpie will disappear in lower light conditions, but the silver stays fully visible. It's also a much thinner line, so if you're doing any super fine work, cutting or laying something out, it's really ideal for that. Next up is foam rubber. Occasionally you may run into black foam rubber. I use a lot of it. So here's the blue Sharpie, that's permanent marker. Here's the oil-based silver. Like as you can see clearly, the silver is very visible. Look at the, as I reduce the light, you can almost see how the blue Sharpie wants to disappear. Next is another material that I use a lot of. This is Darwin or acetal. It's an engineering plastic. And the thing about Darwin is it's for the most part chemically inert, so it's hard to get any type of glue to work with it, especially to mark on it. So we'll go ahead and put a blue Sharpie mark followed by oil-based silver. You can see how you can see the silver. Let me do another one. Like I said, it's hard to mark on this stuff. Clearly see the mark, but the Sharpie will the blue Sharpie will disappear depending on your lighting conditions. You can see it disappear right there. The silver stays visible. It's a big advantage. Finally, Kydex. This is a material that is used in making knife sheaths and other things. It's a thermoplastic. It's thermoformed. And it's always good to have something to mark on Kydex clearly. Let's see how the blue Sharpie does. There's a blue Sharpie mark. Right next to it, oil-based silver. All right, let's take a look at this. The silver is extremely visible, but the blue permanent ink starts disappearing in lower light, or if you're at an angle. It's very hard to see, especially when you're trying to use a bandsaw, which we're going to do in just a minute. But I just wanted to show you these. Okay, let's move on to the bandsaw now, and we'll do some sample setups, show you what this thing looks like while we're cutting it. We won't be cutting the steel because it's a wood cutting bandsaw, but I think you'll get the idea. We'll cut everything else and see what you think. By the way, link in the description for these things on Amazon, just so that you get the right one. This is the ultra fine. It's oil based, and for your convenience, there'll be an affiliate link below in the description. So let's get cutting and see what it looks like in the real life, real world situation. Okay, we're gonna cut on the bandsaw. You can see the blue, I can barely see it. Silver I can see perfectly. Here's Delrin, the same thing. Even under this light, it's hard to see, but the silver, foam roller, foam rubber.